Content warning for profanity and body horror. Welcome to Season 3, Episode 5, Hunting Dragons Incorporated. And as an aside, you may hear some guest appearances. I am cat-sitting for my middle son, so I let you know there may be some kitty meows in the background. Enjoy! Tucked away in the mountains was the beautiful log cabin lodge of Hunting Dragons Incorporated. Not many people heard of Hunting Dragons Incorporated as they didn't have a website or social media presence. Nope. Hunting Dragons Incorporated, ran by Clay Stagbrew, was a curious business. They wanted business. They wanted customers, but not too many. For the right price, guests could be taken out and almost guaranteed a successful hunt. The dining and the amenities were fine, but the main attraction was the quarry. Dragons. Yup, dragons. In the year 2025, dragons do exist. And for the hunter who had tired of bears, bison, and were squirrels, the danger and thrill of tracking a dragon, the actual mythical beast, was the perfect hunt. Why hunt boring elks that almost never breathe fire? Now, if you haven't seen a dragon, it's because they didn't interact with humans. As a species, we became too crowded, too noisy, and downright bothersome. Dragons prefer the peace and solitude of the mountains. And the scenic mountain hunting lodge of Hunting Dragons Incorporated is where our story begins, with the arrival of a most unusual guest. A black SUV crunched over the gravel drive as it pulled up to the lodge's main entrance. Her assistant opened the SUV door, and Sophia Richblood daintily stepped out and fixed her short white hair and thick square glasses. She shared one thing with the guest hunters: wealth. And that is where the commonality ended. At 4 foot 11 inches and 90 pounds wet, Sophia shuffled her 82-year-old tiny frame into the lodge, just in time for a kerfuffle. The lodge's interior was sunlit through many large windows. Wood floors, walls, and ceilings added to the sense of rustic warmth. And of course, it wouldn't be a hunting lodge without hunting trophies. And most of these were typical finds for this mountainous area: elk, bighorn sheep, and mountain seals. But above the stone fireplace hung the most unusual of hunting trophies: the head of a green dragon. It measured about 4 feet wide with a wavy crest, blunt snout, and a muscular jaw. A small sign said, "Please don't touch, out of reverence," as this trophy was placed up quite high, too high to touch or examine. Sophia gasped when she saw it. Dragons! She shivered and pulled her pink cardigan. At the guest relations desk, another guest, Dr. Weston, was not as inspired.
"I say, do you know how much I pay for this experience?"
Behind the desk stood Clay Stagbrew, a solid and handsome figure with wavy yellow hair and firm nostrils.
"Yes, Dr. Weston, we are quite aware and appreciate your patronage, but as stated in your guest agreement, there are rules. And the biggest is our guests are not allowed to take their trophies with them." "Well, why should I hunt if I can't display my trophy? What is the point of all this if I'm simply left empty-handed?"
"I understand your concern, Dr. Weston, and enjoyment of your dragon hunting experience is our top priority. And in order to accommodate you, we must have certain rules you may not find in other more conventional lodges. Dr. Weston huffed.
What's so bad about taking my trophy with me?
Clay sighed. This was not his first time explaining this. Doing so would cause a panic, and not just a panic, but unwanted gawkers and poachers will flood this area. You would destroy the lovely hunting environment we have created for you.
But I won't tell anyone. I won't even show it to anyone.
May I ask, if you won't tell anyone and you won't show anyone your trophy, then why take it? And again, these rules are to protect your hunting experience. Clay paused for a moment to break the conversation's pace and let his last comment sink in. After a moment, Dr. Weston softened, at least a little.
I see your point.
Thank you for understanding. And please don't think you are leaving empty-handed. After all, not only do you have the memory of besting a dragon, how many can say that, but you also get its meat delivered. How many of your friends will be feasting on dragon steak? Dr. Weston nodded as a greedy smile surfaced. Clay finished. I tell you what, as a way of saying thank you for your patronage and understanding, we will process and ship your next dragon meat free of charge. But please don't tell the other guests. Our secret. Yes, Doctor? Dr. Weston's lips curled upwards.
That sounds reasonable. I'll take it.
Grinning, he pinched his thumb and forefinger together and ran them over his lips, as if zipping up their little secret, and walked off content. For now. Sophia witnessed all this through her Coke bottle square glasses. Blinking, she shuffled up to the guest relations desk. Clay gave a big, welcoming smile. Well, hello, you must be Mrs. Richblood.
Yes, please call me Sophia.
Very well, Sophia. Welcome to Hunting Dragons Incorporated. If I might say, you are not quite...
I don't look the part, do I?
Sophia said with a grin.
I have never been much of a hunter. I don't even eat meat. But my husband, oh, dear Salvador, rest his soul, loved to hunt. We were married 45 years, you know. Oh, it went by so quick.
Oh, I see. Now, how can I help you today? I see you've made a reservation, but...
I want to hunt, just this one time. Oh, and to hunt a dragon. My, how magnificent. It is something my sweet Salvador would have loved. So this hunting trip isn't for me. This may sound silly, but I'm doing this for him. As well, a way of remembrance. And maybe by doing this, I can keep part of him with me.
Sophia smiled, and her eyes watered. I think that's absolutely lovely, Sophia. Thank you for sharing that. Now, is there anything I can get you at the moment?
Oh, just checked in. I'd like to rest after a long drive.
Yes, of course. As she checked in, Sophia used an Invisicard, the most exclusive of credit cards. It is so exclusive, you can't even see it or feel it. When Clay saw that, didn't see, his breath caught. He was used to guests showing off their black cards, but this guest? How much money did this old woman have? Clay checked Sophia in while grinning like the Cheshire Cat. Sophia's hunt wasn't scheduled until the next morning, so that gave her time for an afternoon nap and a nice dinner. She enjoyed listening to the other hunters regale their previous adventures while she supped on vegan stew made just for her. Early that next morning, Sophia was up and ready for the hunt. The lodge offered group or individual hunting expeditions, all supervised by the lodge staff for safety, of course. Clay eagerly met Sophia at breakfast. "Sophia, your story of your departed husband and the reason for this trip moved me. I would be honored to personally take you on today's expedition." She looked at him and her eyes smiled behind thick square glasses.
Sure, Clay, that would be lovely.
So after breakfast, Clay escorted Sophia to his Jeep, helped her in, and they were off. While driving, he flashed a charming smile and asked, "So what music do you like? Classical? Jazz?" Her little eyes lit up.
Oh, do you have thrash?
You mean metal?
Yes, please, if you have it.
Clay laughed. "Absolutely." Sophia nodded her head and said,
Oh, that's nice. Gets the old blood pumping. Do you mind if I ask you a question, Clay?
"Please do."
Where is everybody else? I understand this is an individual guest expedition, but aren't there other staff that go along?
Sophia, that's a great question. We used to have more staff come with us, and that would be ideal for safety and the overall experience. Unfortunately, the lodge just can't afford it. Expenses are going up, and we try. He looked at her with a sympathetic smile. We try to provide the best experience. Because, Sophia, our guests, like your husband Salvador, love hunting so darn much. You might say we're doing all this for him. Clay paused for a moment to let his last comment sink in. Sophia wiped mist from her eyes.
That's lovely.
He wrenched the steering wheel. If only we had more darn financing. The Jeep's path stopped at a thicket of trees, and Clay helped Sophia out. She seemed so tiny and frail. He was concerned that firing a rifle may hurt her, but she insisted she could do it.
Oh, I know all about rifles. Salvador took me to the range and taught me gun safety. We were married 45 years, you know. Oh, it went by so quick.
And with that, she quickly grabbed the hunting rifle, pointed the muzzle away, and fed the magazine with 300 Win Mag cartridges in a flash. She clipped the safety back on and gave Clay a modest grin. Clay laughed and said, "You could teach me a thing or two. Let's go dragon hunting." They didn't have to walk far before they heard something. Sophia's eyes widened.
Goodness, is that what they sound like?
Clay patted her shoulder. "It's okay, Sophia. You're with me. I'll keep you safe." He pulled out a dragon detector, which he explained could be used to pick up on the traces of rare minerals only found in dragon scales. The detector flashed a few times with soft beeps, but started getting faster as he pointed it down a trail. If only we could afford better equipment, we would be... Oh, well, anyway, let's keep going. It had been a while since Clay had been out in the field, and he hoped Sophia didn't notice his thumb moving with each dragon detector beep. Clay told Sophia to keep low and silent as they approached a small clearing. And there it was, a dragon. About 15 feet tall, or just larger than an elephant, its gray scales shimmered in the sunlight. It sat on two back haunches with a long tail that had to be at least 30 feet long and ended with barbs. Velvety wings stretched out between deadly sharp wing spikes. Clawed hands moved back and forth at the end of long, muscular arms. But the most frightening part of this dragon was its head. Sharp horns pointed backwards, and dark, unforgiving eyes surveyed the clearing. Then the horned snout shot fire. A fire-breathing dragon. "Isn't she a beaut?" asked Clay.
Something. She is something,
Sophia whispered back, then took off the bolt-action rifle's safety and loaded a cartridge into the chamber. But I know you say you haven't hunted before. If you don't want to shoot her, we can look for a while and then go back to the lodge. Clay always liked to give guests the option, and was surprised how often even seasoned hunters couldn't bring themselves to fire upon such a majestic beast.
No, I think it's time to...
Another roar, but this one came from above the trees. Clay fell to the ground, but Sophia didn't budge. She aimed the rifle at the current dragon. "What the hell was that?"
Probably another one. We're lucky, yes?
she said as a smile crept across her wrinkled face. You bet. But we don't have the staff for two came two panicked voices from somewhere in the clearing. A tall, skinny man carrying a remote controller ran from the woods out into the clearing. As he ran, the dragon began jerking and bobbing randomly. A second man, short and squat and not nearly as fast, ran behind. "It's real! It's fucking real! It's a fucking real one!" they yelled. When the short second man made it to the middle of the clearing, the sky suddenly darkened, and whoosh! Then large red talons picked him up and carried him off, screaming. Sophia's eyes sparkled.
Ooh, I like that one more. Let's hunt that red one.
The tall man, named Elliot, raced to them. "It took Pete! It took Pete! We have to leave now!" Clay hurried Sophia along. His mind was frazzled. "We can't hunt that one. It's...
Too expensive to hunt?"
asked Sophia. She ran alongside the two much larger men without being winded in the least. They reached the jeep and Clay bent down, panting. "Yes, too expensive. If only we had funding, we could hunt that one." Stone-faced serious, Sophia asked,
How much? How much to hunt that red dragon?"
Before Clay could answer, Elliot interjected. "Lady, that thing just took my friend. It's huge. It's..." Clay had cupped his hand over Elliot's mouth. He appraised Sophia and told her an insane dollar amount. Elliot's eyes boggled, but Sophia didn't flinch.
Make me your business partner, and I'll double that.
Clay didn't hesitate. Deal. Before Elliot could reason with these maniacs, they were all back in the jeep, following the red dragon. It stayed in the air just in front of them, with staff member Pete held firmly in its talon. To get an idea of scale, imagine a large hawk carrying a grape. The Jeep sped up, but the red dragon was getting away. The Jeep rumbled onwards to keep up, but the red dragon was fast, and the terrain was getting worse. Finally, as they closed in, the red dragon looked back at them, then rolled to the right, flying over dense forest. Clay stopped the Jeep and jumped out. "We'll go on foot from here." Elliot was apoplectic.
"The hell we are! I'm not going in there, or anywhere near that thing."
I thought you wanted to save your friend,"
asked Sophia, as calmly as if she was at a book club discussion.
"Lady."
"Please, call me Sophia."
"Lady, that thing is a monster. Pete's probably dead by now."
Clay rummaged in the back of the Jeep. "We have more rifles and cartridges you can take with you."
"No."
Elliot backed away from the Jeep and stomped his foot.
"Screw you. I'm going back to the lodge. This is insane."
The sky darkened again, and a large red talon swept up Elliot. Distant screaming faded into silence. Clay shook. He was frozen in fear. But not from the red dragon. That monster was gone. Clay froze at what was happening right in front of him. Clay shook as Sophia, the tiny old lady in a pink cardigan, giggled. Something was wrong. Sophia's eyes, something was wrong with her eyes. The pupils were gone, then all the color except for a golden glow. When she smiled, she no longer had human teeth. It was like her mouth was too small for the sprouting fangs. There was too much growing inside, and Sophia's skin started to stretch. Clay got the sickening image of a human popcorn kernel. He turned away as hot air blasted past him.
"It's okay. You can look now, Clayton,"
said a voice. When Clay turned back, he almost fainted. This was too much. In front of him stood a dragon, not an animatronic puppet used to fool gullible hunters. This thing was at least 30 feet tall and 3 times as long. Its scales and wings were beautiful, glistening gold, as if every scale had just been carefully hand-polished. Clay tried to speak, but instead he fell backwards on the ground and said, "Whoa."
"Whoa, indeed. I'm sure you aren't surprised, though, being a fierce dragon hunter and all."
She meant it as a joke, but Clayton's bones trembled.
"Don't worry, I'm not going to eat you. I don't care much for the taste of humans anyway."
"You're a vegetarian."
"In human form, yes."
You don't hunt."
"In human form, yeah."
"What about—"
"Oh, yes. Your colleagues will be back in a moment, unharmed."
As if on cue, a large red dragon swooped down so quickly it was like she appeared from midair. From her talons, she gently dropped Pete and Elliot back on the ground. They were still screaming, but this time in joyful whoops.
That was amazing,
awesome, Kate. Do it again.
Please.
Kate the dragon looked at the 2 men, then at Sophia, who smiled and nodded. Kate said, "Okay, Pete. Okay, Elliot. One more time, if it will keep you too busy while the grown-ups talk." And no sooner had she lowered herself than the 2 men climbed eagerly into her talons for another ride around the forest. Clay finally got the nerve to ask, "What are you?"
"I'm a dragon, and sometimes a human. What I told you was true. Salvador and I were married 45 years. He never knew about this side of me. Not an easy secret to keep. I meant to tell him early on, but just couldn't. I adored that man too much. And as time grew on, I grew afraid.
Afraid of Salvador?
No, afraid of losing Salvador. 45 years is a long time for humans, but a blink of the eyes to us dragons. What if his feelings for me changed? I didn't want to spoil our short time together.
I still don't understand. What does this have to do with... Clay gestured his hands around, not sure what really to think of anything.
I think our marriage was so happy because we were both so independent. It kept each of us out of each other's hair,
she said with a laugh.
Salvador really was an avid hunter and went on many, many hunting trips. I let him have his time, and I went on my own hunting trips. Something I didn't think he would understand, and, well, also maybe a bit selfish, but I needed to hunt by myself, my way.
Clay pulled his legs around, sat, and listened.
Long story short, when Salvador passed, I realized what a missed opportunity we had. Then I heard about Hunting Dragons Incorporated. Well, of course I had to check it out to see if it was legitimate.
Clay squirmed. Yeah, about that. She gave him a reassuring smile.
The idea of hunting dragons is close to right. Pretty close, but not right. Still not there. And that's where, as your new business partner, I come in.
She sat down and explained. 1 year later. The renovated hunting lodge was sunlit through many large windows. Wood floors, walls, and ceilings added to the sense of rustic warmth. And of course, it wouldn't be a hunting lodge without trophies. The lobby was adorned with trophies of gargoyles, hydra, and giant spiders, just to name a few. Hunting with Dragons Incorporated was a curious business indeed. Clay had joined forces with Sophia, as well as other gold dragons Dorothy, Rose, and Blanche, to make a brand new experience for the avid hunter with the financial means, the chance to hunt monsters alongside a living, breathing dragon. Sophia, back in human form and her favorite pink cardigan, buzzed about the lobby. She wanted everything to be perfect, as very special guests were arriving. This was the inaugural debut of the Salvador Richblood Memorial Youth Hunters Camp, a scholarship-based program for teenagers of limited means to learn about hunting, respect for nature, and to go on small expeditions with dragon mentors. And of course, a lot of dragon fire s'mores. Yum. Soon, shuttle vans crunched over the gravel drive up to the lodge's main entrance and let loose a cacophony of excited young voices. Sophia smiled. She wasn't just good. She was golden. A discount story time, discount idea. It wasn't so bad my parents getting divorced, but did they have to sue each other for spawning a dud? Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed Hunting Dragons.
Next week's story is The Cursed Robinsons. To what lengths will someone go to rescue friends? Subscribe so you can find out. And until next time, be sure to play nice with others, be super duper kind to yourself, and as always, remember to laugh. Bye. Hello, awesome listeners. I've moved the show off Patreon and will not be putting content behind paywalls. I think everyone deserves access to this half-assed content. Having said that, if you're enjoying Discount Storytime, please help keep the show running if you can. There's a support link in the show notes where you can contribute a few dollars each month and you can cancel anytime. Another way to support Discount Storytime is through word of mouth. By telling others about the show, you are both helping the show and spreading smiles. Now that's a win-win-win if you ask me. And regardless, thank you so much for being a listener. Bye.